A tuition hike at USC has students calling for change on campus and demanding a response from university officials.
A student says he was racially targeted in University Park. Hear how USC students and faculty are reacting to the incident.
And a jury has reached a decision on the Erin Andrews Hotel video case.
Annenberg TV News is next.
Live from USC, you're watching Annenberg TV News.
Nikias, step off it! Put students over profit!
Students gathered at Tommy Trojan today to protest next year's tuition hike. The news of the increasing costs to attend USC has student leaders worried about the future. Good evening, I'm Daniel Tran.
And I'm Priscilla Casper. Our reporter Kelly Rinke is live at a meeting being held by USG about the tuition hike. Kelly?
Yeah, that's right. I'm here at the United University Church where that town hall is going to be met. That's the reason why I'm speaking a little bit softly. But if you take a look behind me, there are about a dozen students here. USG President Rini Sampath is also in attendance. Now, the reason for this town hall is for students to be able to express their frustrations and how students can voice their opinions and how the university can move forward. We spoke to a student earlier tonight who spoke a little bit earlier. Take a look.
Honestly, it's really about putting pressure on administration, because if we just kind of like sit there idly by where it's like, well, you know, I got to do homework. Like, I understand I have homework, I have classes to do, but at the same time, if we keep letting administration go by without being held accountable, then they will continue to increase our tuition until it gets up to $100,000. I wouldn't be surprised. Even Provost Quick has said that himself, that he knows that if he charges students $100,000, they'll still come back. So it's like, we can't let them go unchecked like that, and we have to make sure that we're holding them accountable and holding their feet to the fire, because if we don't, then nothing will change.
Now, this is the second event that is being held by students. Earlier today, there was a rally in front of Tommy Trojan, which later led to students sitting in front of Nikias' door asking the president to speak with the students about where all this money is going. Here what students had to say earlier today.
Nikias, step off it! Put students over profit!
Dozens of students are rallying against the $3,000 tuition increase that goes into effect next fall.
I personally really want to know why I'm paying an extra $3,000 every year when I'm just barely trying to catch up for my freshman year.
One by one, students express their frustration in front of Tommy Trojan.
Where exactly is he going?
I already work 20 hours, more than 20 hours a week in order to support myself here at USC. And the fact that I might have to take on more hours.
An hour later, they marched to President Nikias' office in Beauvoir. At first, they weren't let in.
Obviously, this is the treatment that we get when we try to speak to our president.
But a few minutes later, they were let in, but stopped again.
We would like you guys to go so we can conduct university business.
Students wouldn't leave until they could talk to Nikias about where the increased tuition is going.
We wonder why we can't speak with Nikias specifically.
Eventually, the Associate Vice Provost let students sit outside President Nikias' office. USG President Rini Sampath says there needs to be more transparency to students. Most of them found out about the tuition hike from a Facebook post.
If they were going to increase tuition, they should have informed us in the first place.
Parents of prospective students are also concerned about the tuition increase.
At one point, there's a breaking point, and then people are not going to see the value.
The Dean of Financial Aid says the school meets the full demonstrative need of each student.
Obviously, the amount of grant is also going to go up. So yes, every year we have a larger pool of grant funds to give for students that have need.
2/3 of USC students receive financial aid. The total amount comes out to be $500 million. But even with all of this help, some students are having to leave the university because of the tuition increase.
Well, really depressing. It was really sad. I was definitely crying because I already kind of found a home at USC, and I was situated, and I was ready to come back. And I was over the whole freshman experience, you know. I didn't have to deal with orientation. I was already done. And but now I have to do it all over again. I have to deal with a new school again. And it's hard for me, personally, to deal with strangers and new environments, so having to do it all over again is really frustrating.
So that town hall actually just wrapped up a minute ago, and here with me I have Cynthia, who we actually spoke at the rally, and now you came here to the town hall. Can you tell me a little bit about why you came to both events today?
Yeah, so I just thought it was really important to just express my opinion and like my story. Like I was explaining earlier, I think a lot of the times we're just saying a bunch of numbers, and tuition's $3,000 and our cost of attending here is $69,000. But I think it's important to have faces to these numbers and hear the real stories. Like students are going without eating for days trying to pay for tuition, so I think that's a serious problem.
What is your story?
So my story, well, I'm the first person in my family to go to college, so I think I was very disillusioned when I first came in. Through all of the meetings they had in Explore SC, they're like, if you work hard and if you really put your feet to the ground and you really try and succeed, you will be successful and will help you stay here. However, I found, as I've been continuing my journey, my parents had this idea of a set amount I would be paying, but every year it's been increasing, and I don't really know why. I think that me personally, I would just love, some more transparency. Like I said, I'm so thankful to be here. I'm so thankful to be call myself a Trojan and to have this opportunity to be the first in my family to graduate from university. But at the same time, I would like to know, where is this extra $3,000 going? Is it going to help me get a job? Is it going to be helping me get better class opportunities? Or, just why am I paying for continually more every year?
So you have one more year here at USC. Are you worried at all about paying for that year?
Yes, I would definitely say that it's just I have to take it semester by semester, day by day, right now. The reason I left the rally earlier is because I actually had to go to work, and then right now I'm going to another meeting, then to work. So it's just constantly work, school to try and catch up. But my main concern, I would say, is definitely for the people coming in. I mean, I'm almost done, but that doesn't mean that the struggle is going to stop for students who are freshmen. A couple of my residents were actually here. I had no idea, and they're concerned about how they're going to pay for 3 years. I have one more year, but people, still looking at this entire bubble that they still have to face. So yeah, it's a pretty big problem.
All right, well, thank you so much. I really appreciate you talking to me. And we actually reached out to the administration earlier tonight, but unfortunately we were not able to get a response before we went on air. Back to you guys in the studio.
The LAPD is investigating a hate crime that occurred just across the street from campus. Claudia Buccio reports on how the USC community is reacting.
The alleged incident happened while a business undergrad was sitting inside Cardinal Gardens. Ivan Sang posted these photos on Facebook showing the eggs he says were thrown at him. He says the person who threw the eggs also shouted racial slurs. Another student at Cardinal Gardens heard about the incident from an email sent by the Vice President of Student Affairs.
I think thankfully the Vice Provost, Cardinal Gardens, and the USC faculty, staff, and official reaction has been very swift and appropriately stern.
Ivan Sang's Facebook post has been shared over 200 times and has more than 330 likes. But besides Facebook, he decided to report the incident to DPS. And for now, LAPD is conducting its own investigation.
Extremely important for students to report, even if it's done anonymously, even if they don't want to follow through with any action. Because the more we know about what's happening on campus, the better we can address the issues.
Not all students agree with USC officials about how to approach issues of racism on campus.
Admin kind of try to just cover up the issue, and they say USC is not a place where we can stand for this, but then at the same time they don't prioritize giving more space to cultural centers where
USC officials encourage students to report incidents through USC's bias reporting form, which can also be found on the LiveSafe app. Ivan Sang concluded his Facebook post by saying he is confident the weekend incident does not represent the USC community. Reporting for Annenberg Media, I'm Claudia Buccio.
Former USC Provost Elizabeth Garrett died of colon cancer last night at her home in Ithaca, New York. Garrett worked at USC for 10 years. She left last year to become the first female president of Cornell University. Elizabeth Garrett was 52 years old. Well, a private funeral for Nancy Reagan will be held Friday at the Reagan Library in Simi Valley. There will also be a public viewing at the library Wednesday and Thursday. The former First Lady will be buried next to her husband, Ronald Reagan. President Obama ordered flags to be lowered to half-staff at the White House and all federal buildings. She was famous for her Just Say No anti-drug campaign. In 2002, she was awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom for her work helping veterans. She became a supporter of stem cell research after her husband was diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease.
European Union leaders met with Turkish officials to try to get Turkey to take in more refugees from Syria. In return, the country would get more than $3 billion in aid. Turkey is asking for twice that amount. The Turkish president has accused the EU of failing to live up to its promise to give Turkey more than 3 billion euros to take in more refugees. Jordan is another country bordering Syria that has taken in a flood of refugees. Annenberg Media's Neha Wadaker is on the ground in Jordan's capital.
So I think people are getting really excited, and they really want this to work and they want it to last. But at the same time, there's a lot of skepticism. They're really worried about economic development, and they're really worried about backlash. If they give all these jobs to Syrian refugees, they're not going to really have the opportunity to give jobs to Jordanians. Jordanians are going to hate the refugees coming in. It's going to blow up in their faces.
The European Union will continue these talks next week.
A jury awarded sports reporter Erin Andrews $55 million today in her lawsuit against her stalker and a Nashville Marriott hotel. Andrews sued the hotel after her stalker, Michael David Barrett, was allowed to stay in the room next to hers, videotaped her nude, and posted the videos online back in 2008. The jury determined that Barrett was responsible for 51% of the damages and the hotel for 49%. A month after winning Super Bowl 50, Peyton Manning has announced his next step. Our sports anchor Randall Newsome has more on the story. Randall?
Peyton Manning has officially thrown in his last touchdown pass. After an 18-year career in the NFL, the Broncos quarterback reflected on the moments before his last game.
A week before the Super Bowl, our daughter Mosley asked me, "Daddy, is this the last game?" "Yes, Mosley, it's the last game of the season. I sure do want you to win that trophy." "I do too, Mosley, and that's what we're going to try to do." Then she asked, "Daddy, is this the last game ever?" And that's just when I shook my head in amazement, because I was thinking Morton Adam Schefter had gotten to my 5-year-old daughter to cultivate a new source.
Manning leaves the field with two major records, almost 72,000 passing yards and 539 passing touchdowns, more than any other player. He also holds the record for the most touchdowns in a single season with 55 in 2013. After playing for both the Broncos and the Colts, Manning built up quite the fan base, and longtime fans are sad to see the quarterback go.
Well, I think it was time for it to happen. Definitely no better way to go out, at least for him. Oh, I think he changed the game. So yeah, I think he's probably the best ever.
Like Joe Montana's got 4 Super Bowls, and for a while, the fact that Peyton just had the 1, I would say like put him like a tier below that. But now that he's got 2, I think as far as legacy goes, it puts him up there.
Manning took time to address a lawsuit filed last month, which claims he harassed a female trainer while playing for the University of Tennessee. He quickly dismissed the allegations, saying he didn't do it and wasn't interested in discussing something that happened when he was 19. Manning says the thing he'll miss the most about his time in the NFL includes steak dinners after wins in Indianapolis, handshakes with Tom Brady, and of course, the fans.
Rain, wind, and thunderstorms hit the Southland today. Find out what weather is ahead for the rest of the week.
Girls at Long Beach Middle School received a lesson in technology today.
And our weather anchor Veronica takes us to a Korean-Mexican fusion restaurant. We'll show you more after the break.
It takes less than 1 minute to find out if you may have prediabetes. You can do it here. But you probably won't. You're busy. Kids, work, show coming back in 48 seconds. So let's do this now. Hold up 1 finger if you're a man, women 0. 3 more fingers if you're over 60, 2 over 50, 1 over 40. If you're not sure, keep in mind you're sitting on a couch right now, so 1 more finger if you're not very active. 1 finger if yes, 0 if no. 1 yes, 0 no. Next, find the body type that looks most like you and hold up that many fingers while I look around awkwardly. And that's it. If you're holding up 5 fingers or more, you probably have prediabetes. Sorry to be so blunt, but hey, you're busy. Just go to the site.
I adopted Bento in 2010 from a shelter. As it turns out, we have very similar personalities. And this cat makes me make art because he's always motivating me to take pictures of him, to draw pictures of him. He just is motivating artistically. It's just that simple. Well, he's my best friend, but a lot of people know him as Keyboard Cat.
The city of Long Beach is partnering with the division of Microsoft to get young girls excited about technology. Annenberg Media's Tommy Brooksbank shows us how the one-day camp is making a difference.
Technology touches everything that you do.
About 40 sixth grade girls from Washington Middle School in Long Beach got a lesson from professionals today on how to develop their math and science skills.
We're working with a lot of young middle school kids, girls, trying to get them to focus on driving them through technology, computer science, engineering, those areas of education that they can further their career in.
Now the girls participating in this DigiCamp will sit down here with industry professionals to learn the basics of computer coding. The hope is that hands-on activities like this will help spark students' interest in technology.
The workshop uses two programs, Touchstone Development and the computer game Minecraft. Both are used to show kids the step-by-step process of coding while using a game to keep students interested. One Long Beach official says that events like this are a great way to make learning fun and exciting for kids.
Excited, engaged, and exposed. Those are really the three goals for today. What's important about the industry partner is really relaying what are the careers and skill set that kids will need to learn as they go into high school, college, and so on.
Although some girls in the program did not want to go into a computer coding field, many still recognize the importance of participating in programs like the DigiCamp to develop their computer skills.
I actually want to be a neurosurgeon, and I know that to be a neurosurgeon, there's certain procedures that you use computers with to get inside the brain, so it's technology.
In fairness to the boys, Washington Middle School will hold the DigiCamp tomorrow for sixth graders. No girls allowed. For Annenberg Media, I'm Tommy Brooksbank.
Hashtag LA rain was trending today, and it wasn't hard to see why. I mean, did you hear those thunderstorms this morning?
Yeah, they were so loud. Oh my God. Well, let's toss it over to our weather anchor, Veronica Casada. Veronica?
Yes, that's right. Thank you, Daniel and Priscilla. That rain this morning was incredibly strong and the thunder outstanding. A lot of streets are flooded, so be very careful when driving today. But the rain will be going away for a couple days before we get some more. But first, let's take a look at the current conditions. We are at 55 degrees, very cold and high winds at 6 miles per hour. Also, we have a slight chance of thunder tonight, so be careful if you're going out there today. Now let's take a look at tomorrow's forecast. We have 45 in Big Bear, 71 down in Riverside. If you're driving in this mountain area, be careful with the icy roads. Moving up north, we have 68 in Simi Valley, 71 down in Malibu. Now if we take a look at down at USC, we have 70 at USC and 71 down in Long Beach. Taking a look ahead at the 5-day forecast, we have no rain until Sunday, some slight chance of rain and thunder tomorrow on Wednesday, but Thursday, Friday, Saturday should be clear days. Now, if you've been searching on Yelp for hours for the perfect place to go eat on your cheat days, I'll help you out. For this week's episode of Venture with Veronica, I'm featuring a delicious fusion restaurant. Cha Cha Chili is a restaurant in East Los Angeles that combines the best of two worlds, Mexico and Korea. Its #1 bestseller, chimichangas.
Marinated rice, beans, cheese, the meat or tofu, depending on what you want to eat, and sriracha, spicy mayo, green onions on top.
The chimichanga is big enough to share, or not, but Solis says you should eventually try everything on the menu.
Everything's really good, it just depends on your taste. And yes, we do carry vegan items.
The food is so good that Food Network's Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives featured the restaurant.
We did a segment here on, actually they did the chimichangas and the jefe tacos, which it was popular for a while because we had to make the homemade tortillas.
Solis says each time the episode airs, they get extra busy, but nothing comes close to the day it premiered.
I was working here with one cook, and that day it was fun. I'm gonna go with it was fun.
Cha Cha Chili is located on Valley Boulevard in East Los Angeles, and they also have a location in Alhambra.
Oh, thank you very much, Veronica. Former New York City Mayor Michael Bloomberg announced today he will not be putting his name on the presidential ballot. But the other candidates continued campaigning with another multi-state primary on the horizon. Democratic presidential candidate Hillary Clinton was campaigning in Grand Rapids, Michigan, while her opponent Bernie Sanders held a rally in Dearborn, Michigan. Both candidates will be fighting for 189 delegates tomorrow in Michigan and Mississippi. On the Republican side of the primary, Donald Trump holds a 19-point lead over Ted Cruz, who spoke to supporters in Jackson, Mississippi. Trailing behind Cruz and Trump is Florida Senator Marco Rubio, who was in Idaho Falls, Idaho today, trying to make up the 24-point deficit. The candidates will compete for 140 delegates tomorrow in Michigan, Mississippi, Hawaii, and Idaho.
Well, the Dow is up and down, but I'm hearing our sports teams are up on the up these days.
Yeah, all this talk about points has me ready to talk some sports. Randall?
Well, guys, if it's points you want, say no more. USC Sports has been putting up points all over the place. Coming up, we will catch you up on some athletes that made USC history. USC men's basketball is at the top of the list. The top-ranked beach volleyball team was battle-tested yesterday, but did they manage to hold on to the top spot? Don't go anywhere. ATVN Sports.
It's a short ride from your neighborhood to your naturehood. To find a neighborhood park or green space near you, visit discovertheforest.org.
Me and my boy Matt had it good. He had catnip that was off the hook. But one day, he brings a girl home, and she's allergic to cats. Every sneeze was a nail in my coffin. Now I'm in a shelter. It's decent, but they don't even have Wi-Fi.
USC men's basketball is bound for the Pac-12 tournament, and in the first round, they will face a very familiar foe, those pesky UCLA Bruins.
Basically guard our yard. That means defend the ball, because their plays most of the time don't hurt us. It's just they're really good offensively and execute on offense.
Right now we're focused on one game at a time, so we're going to be UCLA first, and from there we kind of see where we can go from there.
This will be the third time the Trojans face their crosstown rivals this season. They should go in as the favorite after winning the previous two games by double digits. The USC men's swimming team placed second at the Pac-12 championships. Despite not claiming first like the women of Troy did last week, they did leave with some gold in their hands. We spoke to the Trojans pair of conference champions.
I would really like to better my personal best times and just help the team get into that A final and see how far up I can go, just to score as many team points as I can.
I'm hoping to go a little bit faster, definitely put a top 8 finish in there, at least be the fastest freshman in the country, if not, top 3 and get a medal. That'd be nice.
Junior Steven Stump repeated as the 200-yard breaststroke winner, and freshman Patrick Mulcair won the 200 backstroke. The Trojans will now turn their focus to the national championships. We will see if the Trojans can snag some gold again when they head to Georgia Tech. The meet starts March 24th and finishes on March 26th. The beach volleyball team is still holding on to that number 1 spot after a close call against number 4 Long Beach State. The ladies took one loss to Pepperdine, but they are coming home to defend their home sand. After passing some tough testing on the road, the Lady Trojans will have 3 home games in a row. The ladies will be back on their home turf this Thursday against Arizona State and Florida State. They will stay at home to face Loyola Marymount on Friday. Tennis superstar Maria Sharapova has just tested positive for performance-enhancing drugs and could face a suspension for 4 years from the World Anti-Doping Agency.
I made a huge mistake, and I I've let my fans down. I've let the sport down that I've been playing since the age of 4 that I love so deeply.
Sharapova is ranked number 6 in the world in the Women's Tennis Association. She is also the top grossing female athlete in the world. Now for my first edition of Randall's Rising Stars, we go back to the USC men's hoop captain, Julian Jacobs. Jacobs was named to the All Pac-12 first team and is the first USC player named to that list since 2011. Jordan McLaughlin and freshman Benny Boatwright received honorable mention honors. The whole USC men's basketball team can make history if they make it to the NCAA tournament. With stellar play from our Rising Stars of the Week, they can continue to break records. There's some points for you.
Hey, looking forward to it, Randall. Thank you so much. A new app launched today that may have you questioning what other people are saying about you.
We'll have reaction from students when we come back.
The earthquakes you see in movies are one thing, but real life is a completely different animal. Just because you can't predict an earthquake doesn't mean that you can't prepare for one. In the event of a real earthquake, you should drop, cover, and hold on. Visit ready.gov/earthquake and practice what to do to keep you and your family safe in the event of a real earthquake. And you'll be seen as a hero by your family and your loved ones.
Visit ready.gov/earthquake today.
Hey, look, it's those guys.
What's up? What's happening today? Let's hit those pearly whites, man. Yeah! Hey, boys, check it out. Stand up, do my terrorists, go compare us.
Ooh, cute. Are you good to try?
I'm fine. Hey girl, what's up? What's the name? What's good? What's up?
How many did you have?
I should be fine.
You should be.
Sir, go and step out of the vehicle for me. Yes, sir.
See ya, buddy. Today Sean's got a hearing. We'll see how it goes. Good luck. So turns out, buzz driving and drunk driving, they're the same thing, and it costs around $10,000. So not worth it.
Imagine Yelp, but for people. An app that lets you rate people launched today and is stirring up controversy on the internet. People lets you write reviews and rate others on the app. Co-creators Julia Cordray and Nicole McAuliffe say they hope to provide a reference check for the people around us. USC students shared their reactions to the app.
I think it's a terrible thing because it's one of those things where like you can't necessarily make a judgment on people. It sort of encourages a culture of us judging people and us being superficial to people.
It seems like an invasion of privacy and can be a cause for libel at the least. Like I feel like it could impede, job applications.
Students also said that it's not right to judge people and that this app could have detrimental effects on one's career and life.
Thanks for watching Annenberg TV News. From everyone at Annenberg Media, I'm Daniel Tran.
And I'm Priscilla Casper. You can catch us on the web at uscannenbergmedia.com. Good night.